Poor Unfortunate Souls by AJVASQUEZ Brony 28. Chapter 1. Bon Bon made her way down to the dark ocean, a sack of gold on her back that caused her bare feet to sink into the sand. Her dress made it hard to navigate the beach, but once she reached the rowboat, she would change into some more comfortable clothing. Of course, the irony was, as she rounded into the secluded section of beach where the rowboat rested, this was where she first met Lyra. Bon Bon had slipped away from her parents' estate/castle to walk along the beach. It was mid-morning, and while a bit later than she liked, it was still enough time to clear her head before any of her daily routines had to begin. She rounded a rock to the more secluded cove of the beach, took a deep breath, then removed her shirt and pants till while nothing private was exposed, or was he wearing anything that would have been considered underwear, it was still far less than what a lady of her society should have even considered, when nothing short of skinny dipping. But no one was here to judge her, so she smiled. There were only two places Bon liked to be: the kitchen, when she could get away with making candy, of which was vastly discouraged from her parents of such a lady, and the sea. It seemed odd to have such two different loves, but it wasn't like she was one to complain. Candy made her happy, and making it see in others' faces when they tasted it was a thrill. The idea that she had made someone else smile instead of acting like she had to try and impress by being fake. The sea, on the other hand, was calming, relaxful, and could be a little rowdy when it needed to be. It was all she could wish from her high-class life, and then some. "Cannonball!" Bon Bon cried as she splashed into the water. When she surfaced, she reached head first, throwing her wet hair backward with a gracious giggle. She then floated on her back and was content to let the current drag her along for just a little bit in the shallower waters. Here, where there were no rules, no restrictions, she felt the ripple from the splash first. After the water went over her face, Bon Bon scrambled upwards to see a mid-green girl about her age, head covered in seaweed, resting on her rear and arms in the water after having fallen over. "Oh my!" Bon Bon jerked upwards to make sure the girl was okay. "Are you?" "Yeah!" As she lifted the misty girl up, Bon Bon realized that she was naked. Face bright red, Bon fell back into the water on the rear. The girl turned to look at Bon Bon, and to Bon Bon's relief, she wasn't completely naked. Instead, the girl only wore a seashell bra on her chest. The girl said nothing as she tried to stand, eyes locked on Bon Bon, full of wonder and excitement, which vanished as her arms began to twirl in the air. To which she fell forward and landed with one arm and leg across Bon Bon's torso. This went on for several minutes before Bon Bon was able to lead the stranger to shore. "Here!" Bon Bon said, tossing the girl a towel. She then took in a few deep breaths with her hands on her knees before looking to see the girl looking over at the towel while not using it. "Oh, for Foster's sake!" More worried about her flustered mind, Bon Bon grabbed the towel and wrapped it around the girl's torso. "There," Bon Bon said, giving it a tight squeeze to make sure it wouldn't fall off. Sorry for the rough start. Now, who are you, and what are you doing out here half naked?" She was one to talk, but a murder beat her trunks by miles. The girl opened her mouth and moved her lips to speak, only no words to come out. Oh, Bonbon clicked her heels as the girl brought her hands to her lips. You can't speak? I mean, Bonbon shook her head. What happened? You get into a shipwreck? The girl paused to think on that, before nervously nodding her head. Bonbon sighed. Sorry. I was never the best at charades. The girl tilted her head. Bonbon rubbed her neck. Maybe I can... As she spoke, the girl's knees began to give out, and she fell forward. Bonbon lunged forward and caught her before she could trip, causing them both to land up on with their faces centimeters apart. Bonbon became lost for words as she glanced into those green, life-filled, beautiful... Hey, Bonnie! Her cousin flashed and she shouted. What are you doing? Fishing for taffy? Eyes narrow. Bonbon helped pull the girl up onto her feet, holding her hand. She then turned to see Flash peek out from behind a rock. Aren't you rich, Flash? What are you doing? He looked over his shoulder. Who's your pretty new friend? Bonbon looked back to the girl and felt a pinch in her stomach as she saw her new friend blushing and looking down, flirty, like at Flash's eyes. Bonbon sighed as she slipped into her choice of swimwear. At first she considered the appropriate tunic for a lady. However, just for spite, she slipped in a pair of raggy pants and a sleeveless shirt with the bare minimum underneath if it came to her having to go underwater. Hope I know what I'm doing, she sighed as she threw her bag into the boat. Bonbon shook her head. So the only reason you don't think she's the one who saved you is because she can't sing? Flash clapped his hands behind his back. I know she said it was her, and she lost her voice in her own shipping accident, but still... Bonbon slapped her forehead. Well, thanks for telling Mom and Dad that anyways. It was only because they told her parents that it was Lyra Heartstrings when they figured out, after some trial and error, was the mysterious girl Flash had said saved his life, that she was permitted to stay. Not that anyone seemed to mind which word got around the whole estate. As it was for Bonbon most summers, her cousin Flash had been staying with them for long holiday months, when, for his birthday, they took a ship out to sea. When a hurricane broke out and everyone thought Flash had died, making sure Bonbon made it to the lifeboat, all was dread. That was till they found him washed up on a shore next day, going over how a girl with a beautiful singing voice had pulled him to shore. A girl that fit Lyra's description to a letter, except for the lack of a voice. The least I can do, Flash crossed his arms. Besides, who would want to leave a poor, naked, not to mention bad-looking, soul out in the open to be used? Bonbon raised her finger. Don't you get any ideas with her? Flash chuckled. Have a heart, cousin. I thought you'd have more trust in me that I wouldn't cheat on Sunset. He then smirked. Course, you seem to care a lot for the stranger. You two did anything else before I... Flash put his hands up and stepped back at Bonbon's advance. Sorry, he whispered, looking around the room. We are alone, you know. Bonbon looked down and whimpered. I'm still scared. Flash smiled and lifted up Bonbon's chin. Your secret is always safe with me. You know that, right? Bonbon allowed a smile. I know. He then smirked, then looked around. Though, if we are being honest, you got it bad for this girl, and only one day I thought you didn't believe in love at first sight. Bonbon crossed her arms. Doesn't mean I don't think she's pretty. Isn't the new word, I believe, hot? Bonbon punched his shoulder. And for a future Queen's Guard, you got soft shoulders. Flash rubbed his pride and laughed along with Bonbon. This was interrupted when the doors to the room they had been waiting for Lyra to get dressed opened out. Out of them, a well-dressed Lyra approached them with her arms folded in front of her stomach. Bonbon's heart stopped for a moment as she gazed at the most beautiful smile she had ever seen. It radiated, glowed, warmed his soul, and scrambled in her words. Hey, Bonbon muttered. Lyra gave Bonbon a warm smile, and Bonbon felt the same heart flatten as she gave a bigger smile towards Flash. Bonnie! Bonbon's blood ran cold. Slowly she looked behind her to see her cousin fast approaching. Teeth gritting, she hurriedly tried to push the boat out. Don't stop me! Stop you? He came right beside her. I was just going to scold you for at least not saying goodbye. Bonbon rapidly blinked. Huh? Also, he said rather slowly, holding out to her bag she just now noticed he was carrying. Thought this would help if you were right. Raising an eyebrow, she nonetheless took the bag. Inside were more silver and gold coins with the box. Where'd you get this? And wait, you believed me? And you're not going to stop me? He chuckled. And here I thought after all these years you trusted me. Bonbon looked away. Didn't sound like all week. You know, when everyone else agreed I went mad? Flash flinched. Okay, but I acted like I had. Do you think your parents would have let me anywhere near you? Bonbon slowly looked back at him. So, why don't you open the box first before you get sappy? Before she could make a remark, she opened the box, which she realized had Flash's family's coat of arms on the top. Inside was the silver medallion. With a closer look, she realized it was really two half pendants that fitted together. One was of a lyre, and the other a bonbon candy piece. She looked up to him agap. How? Where? I sort of commissioned it for you and Lyra on a big day out of town while you were dancing. Figured it would be something for you both to remember me and each other. By when the summer was over, there was silence while Bonbon hugged him. Before she pulled away, she said, "You're not coming?" Flash opened his eyes and pulled away. Yes, she pushed away from the hug. What if something goes wrong? Not just if the sea witch is real, but if anything goes wrong when I'm out there. What would Sunset think? It's bad enough we almost lost. She almost lost you. But I'm sure no one would stand if we both got lost. Flash dug his hands deep into his pocket. You sound like you won't be coming back. A wave crashed upon the rocks. I will get her back. Bonbon closed the box. Flash bit his lip. I know, but he lowered his head and laughed. I guess I can make sure you're covered for a bit longer. Bonbon looked up to him with wise eyes. You don't... Hey, I owe you and Lyra everything, so I won't have any more spending money this summer. At least I'm still alive. And you two can be happy in case this hag had a steep price tag. Bon Bon returned the hag. Thank you. I know. He rubbed Bon Bon's back. Now get going if you're going to make it home for breakfast. Wiping her eyes, Bon Bon nodded. Yes, Captain. With his help, they pushed the boat out to sea. Flash slumped his shoulder before he shouted his last words to her. If you don't come back, I think you should know I was the one who put that rubber snake into your cake at your 5th birthday party. I know! I was the one who mixed those lemons into your own 8th birthday cake. Flash shook his head. Glad to see you so excited, Bon Bon smirked as Lyra twirled around and brushed in her hand after Bon Bon told her what it was. With no confirmed explanation as to where Lyra came from or where she would go, and with the summer still in full swing, Bon Bon had suggested to her aunt and uncle at dinner to take Lyra and Bon Bon until such a time. Then suggested they show the guests around town. It made her parents a little uneasy, but when Lyra tried to comb her hair with a fork, they wanted to keep Lyra locked up even more. However, when Flash pointed out again that she saved his life, they agreed, so long as Flash made sure she stayed out of trouble. Now they had just had to sleep, and the day of fun could begin. Meanwhile, this was the first chance Bon Bon had alone with Lyra. During dinner, her parents were either trying to find out who Lyra was, or Lyra was trying to flirt with Flash. Not that she hadn't got some attention, but this was her chance to know if Lyra was worth the risk of pursuing. While she did have a crush on Flash, it didn't mean she couldn't be into women, right? Either way, Bon Bon could no longer hide her feelings. No matter what Lyra did, she was always smiling and could bring life everywhere she went. She always tried to make someone smile even when things were made unpleasant. When they made things unpleasant. Her parents would start suggesting Lyra was faking her muteness. When Flash was about to protest, Lyra pulled him down, and the mood of the room improved as Bon Bon felt more relaxed with Lyra's smile. Even when her parents were talking politics, Lyra never once frowned. But now it was just the two of them sharing a room for the night. It wasn't as if Lyra couldn't have her own room or bed. It was just, aside from being perky, she was also clingy, as in she really didn't want to leave her or Flash's side for any reason. So they allowed her to sleep with Bon Bon, to which Bon Bon was grateful. She only told Flash about her sexual confusion. Now she could find out if this girl was worth pursuing and risking for. Once she realized Flash was away with someone, they didn't have the heart to go tell her for the moment. So, by chance, do you like chocolate? Bon Bon asked, not knowing what else to say. Lyra paused and turned around, smiling blankly at Bon Bon. Bon Bon twirled her fingers. Okay, toffee? Lyra continued to smile for her. Any kind of candies? Lyra tilted her head. Bon Bon blinked. Don't tell me you never had candy before. Lyra nervously chuckled. Bon Bon's eyes twitched. What kind of horrible world did you live in? Lyra looked to the ground. I don't want to know. Bon Bon grabbed Lyra by the arm. Come on, we're fixing that tonight. Once over the 7th force, Lyra's face lit up at the prospect of doing something as she started to drag Bon Bon along. Whoa there, horsey, Bon Bon said. Lyra giggled. Bonbon smiled before she added, while slowly opening the door, "We have to be sneaky. My parents don't like me making candy." Once she was sure the coast was clear, she pulled Lyra along. However, Bonbon looked to see Lyra was still distressed. "Something wrong?" Lyra tried to speak, then remembered she had no voice. "Right, we don't have to." Lyra pulled up to hug Bonbon's arm. "Oh," Bonbon blushed. "Onward to candy." Lyra's smile widened. "I still can't believe you've never had any candy before." It was more surprising that she was so interested into Bonbon's work, but she wasn't one to complain, especially after she figured out Lyra must have had parents similar to her own. "I mean, at least my parents let me eat chocolate." She sat on the corner to wait adjacent from Lyra. "Can't imagine what yours are like." Lyra slowly nodded and folded her hands. "Not that I hate my family, but I mean, it's just my hobby. Is that so wrong?" Lyra frowned and shook her head. "Got any special interests?" Bonbon winced as she asked that, already seeing Lyra struggle to answer. "We can figure that out tomorrow when we see the sights. Can you point to what you like to do?" Lyra beamed. Bonbon hopped down to put the final touches on the treats. It was something of an accident, finding what she was good at. Typically, cooking was something only servitude women were supposed to do, not something a high-standing lady like her. However, after her first taste of Bonbon as a kid, she fell in love for the first time. But it wasn't enough. No, she wanted to make her own. For a while, her parents allowed some of the cooking maids to teach her, expecting it to run its course. But when she got older and was able to be a lady, she still loved to bake, but it was very frowned upon. In the present, with Lyra leaning on her back while she cooked, Bonbon felt in heaven. Even if they couldn't talk, she found herself getting to know Lyra more and more every moment they spent. She was very curious, for sure, always wondering what something was, taking almost a half hour as she pointed to something, asking what it was. To her, everything was full of wonder in life, and Lyra didn't want to waste a second on it. If this was just inside the castle, Bonbon could only wonder what their date in town would. Her face flattened as she poured the chocolates into the molds. Bonbon had first realized she was into boys right at the start of puberty. It just seemed so different, so ugly and smelly. And when her other friends talked about them kissing and making love, she found herself thinking more about doing such acts with one of them. It was a really bad day for her when she first addressed the idea of ladies kissing ladies. Her friends laughed at the notion, and luckily Flash had been visiting. Looking back, she would have likely told her mom next. If she had, she didn't want to know what would have happened. Bonbon felt Lyra shake her shoulders. She turned to see Lyra's hurt face, eyes immediately "I do something wrong?" Look. Bonbon waved her off. "No, you're fine." She held onto Lyra's arm. Well, she looked to the near cooling candles. "Just a lot of my mind. I don't want to bring you too down with it." And she sat the candies down and felt Lyra wrap her arms around her. Sighing in content, Bonbon returned her hug. "Guess we're just both oddballs, huh?" She felt Lyra breathe. Bonbon pulled away to look Lyra in the eyes. "You're alright, Lyra. Stick with me. I'll help you navigate this unfair world." Lyra looked down and smiled. "But tonight," Bonbon picked up two of the cold candies, "we eat chocolate!" Lyra brightened back up. That was until she tried the treats, followed by scarfing down several more. Bonbon giggled at the sight of Lyra's chocolate-covered face. before she stopped to wonder what was so funny. Hands in his pocket, Flash walked back up the steps of the mansion. He caught a glimpse of Bonbon's rowboat one last time before she disappeared into the fog. Shaking his head, he crept back inside and found no one awake to bust him. Once in his room, he laid on his bed and said, "I hope she finds her." And he then crossed his arms and tried to fall asleep. They took off as soon as they could. Even just the horse ride over, Lara couldn't sit still. She nearly snapped her neck trying to get a look under the wagon, while in motion, to see how it worked. That was nothing when they got to the village. The only way they kept in mind was for Flash or Bonbon to always have one hand locked into Lara. It didn't slow her down, but it kept her from getting lost. "You are something else, Lara," Flash laughed as they ran from some angry puppeteers after she unmasked one of the hands. "I'll say that." Lara what almost sounded like a giggle when they stopped running, only to stop and docked at a pet shop. When Flash noticed Bonbon looking distressed, he quickly let go of Lara so Bonbon could talk. Right then, he held back a sigh as Lara made a pouty face at no longer being held. There was no way around it. Lara liked him. That didn't change the fact that his heart belonged to another. Not that he couldn't see himself with her if that wasn't the fact. Even if it wasn't arranged, he still loved Sunset. Besides, he also knew Bonbon liked Lara as well. Even more so today after they had a chance to do whatever a woman did the night before to bond more. He just wished something would happen so they could move on. "So, how much longer?" Bonbon whispered as Lara became hypnotized by a dog collar. "You really want me to ruin this day for her?" Flash crossed his arms. "I mean, she's having a good time." Lara jolted back as Lara made a music box play. Bonbon groaned. "No, and I'll stomp your foot if you make the obvious joke." She shook her head at Flash's chuckle. "I'll just find a way to casually bring Sunset up." Truth be told, Flash wanted to put off bursting Lara's bubble for as long as possible, hoping it would give Bonbon and Lara more time to bond. Hopefully that would make Lara have feelings towards Bonbon and would run into her arms when her heart was broken. At least that was the plan, but one he remained hopeful for when a jester jumped out to scare them. Lara jumped into Bonbon's arms instead of his, if only because she was closer, but he could dream. There, Lara," Bonbon assured as she rubbed Lara's back. The tender moment between them was not to last. As they walked, music began to pick up on the square. Ecstatic and jumping for joy, Lara dragged Flash and Bonbon along. "Eager to dance, huh?" Lara nodded vigorously nodded, then let go of Bonbon's hand to hold both of his. Flash chuckled nervously. "Actually, I have 2 left feet." Lara blinked, then looked at his feet. "No, I mean, I can't dance. However," he guided her to Bonbon. "Bonbon can give you a better lesson." His cousin face flushed red. What?" He pushed the pair into the crowd of dancers. "You'll thank me later." Bonbon shot at him. "I'll kill you later." Look, before smiling at Lara. Lara bit her lips and looked down. "Hey," Bonbon said, lifting her chin. "Let's just have fun, okay?" Lara smiled, then perked up as a new song started to play. Both girls hummed as well as they could, as both lost themselves to the magic of the moment. As the song picked up and Lara started to sing, Bonbon held her waist and said, "Eyes on me, okay?" Smirking as the song became more energetic, Lara held onto Bonbon. They twirled, swirled, circled, and saw nothing at each other. All either of them could do was stare at one another as they danced. Bonbon couldn't remember the last time she felt so alive, so confident, so carefree. If this was what love felt like, she never wanted to let Lyra go, and it seemed like Lyra felt the same way. Suddenly the music ended, and the girls found their faces inches apart, breathing heavily. Told Bonbon, told you it would be great. Lyra nodded, and Bonbon swore. Lyra muttered, beautiful. You two have fun? Flash interrupted. They blinked and looked at Flash, which had come back from his surprise purchase and was leaning against the wall. Bonbon was about to say something smart before Lyra broke her grip onto her. She walked over to Flash and leaned against the wall with him, flashing her eyes. Bonbon growled. Bonbon's memories were brought to a sudden halt. Looking over, she saw the two eels looking up to her. You came? One snickered. You must really love her, the other wickedly smiled. Where is she? Bonbon said straightforward. The eels chuckled. Which are you more eager for? Bonbon breathed sharply out her nose. But of course, we are keeping her waiting. On the water, something landed in the boat. Bonbon looked over her shoulder to where a ball landed. Drink up. Skeptically, Bonbon picked it up. And just what will this do? Lets you breathe in our world. Free of charge. Looking nervously between the eels and the bottle, her mind was already made up. She took off her shirt, secured her bags onto her back, then chucked down the vial. Next, she swore as her lungs started to bend. Then she blacked out as the eels wrapped their tails around her wrist and they dragged her down. Anything else you'd want to do today? Bonbon speculated as Lyra bounded forward, face as wide as it could have been. The sun was just setting, and even though they had done a lot more exciting things throughout having a cousin over for the summer, this was shaping up to be one of the best days ever. After Bonbon danced with Lyra, then ate a lower-class restaurant that was trying out new but delicious peasant food called pizza. One bite and the teens fell in love with it. After that, they got to see more of the town. They even did a little shopping at a few of the merchant stalls for some more clothing. Then, when poor Flash had to get all the new things home, it left Bonbon and Lyra with alone time to watch some candy maker. As they did so, Lyra wrapped her arms around her own and even leaned into Bonbon's shoulder, sighing dreamily. It made Bonbon happier than she ever had. Don't give her any ideas, Flash teased. This resulted in Lyra coming to a stop. She then backpedaled and wrapped Flash's arm with both of hers as she leaned into his shoulder. When Flash let out a nervous chuckle, Bonbon snapped. We really should bring your girlfriend next time, Flash. Bonbon smirked as she watched both Flash and Lyra's eyes widen. Try not to sound upset, and with that out of the way, Flash said, Oh yeah, my future bride, Sunset Shimmer. He shot Bonbon a later glance before attending to a very still Lyra. You'll love her. She can be a bit headstrong, but Sunset is really sweet. And before he could go on, Lyra pushed him away and started running towards the castle, hands on her face. Bonbon muttered as she glared at Flash. Why, you... Flash shook his head. Don't even try. Bonbon stomped her foot. So you think having led her on would have made it any better? You think this wouldn't have happened if she knew any sooner? They both cast each other death glances before they realized neither of them were in the right. "Just go to her," Flash said. "You may not be the only one now who can. You may be the only one who can now make her feel better." Bon sighed. "Yeah." She started to race off. "Oh, and cousin?" Bon stopped to look at him. "I really hope she likes you like that. If you two, get together after this, I'll do whatever I can to help you succeed." Bon nodded. "Thanks, idiot." They laughed, and Bon raced to her goal. "You're not dead, you know." Bon's eyes shot open. They had stopped descending, and a quick intake of water confirmed that she could breathe. A quick look down also confirmed that her pants fell off during the dive, leaving her in a cotton bra and panties. However, she still held onto a bags of coins. "So it would seem," Bon nodded as her brain proposed this wasn't a dream. They were in deep, not pitch black, but really dark water. A midnight black that prevented Bon from seeing far. So when something saw him by, she flinched. "Best not be in the open for long," one of the eels teased. Bon's screen crawled. The goosebumps tightened as she looked behind the remains of a giant animal skeleton greeting her gaze that emitted an eerie purple glow. "This way," they said, motioning towards the mouth of the beast. With a gulp, and questioning how dumb this was, she swam forward. Thoughts of her time with Lyra kept her going. "Lyra?" Bon knocked on the closet door. As the sun went down. "Lyra, please open up." There was no response. "Lyra, I know you're in there." After bursting a bubble with Lyra's clear crush and flash, she found Lyra crying to their room. Since then, Bon had camped out on the other side of the closet door, occasionally drifting in and out of sleep between Lyra's sobs. "Lyra, I'm sorry. Look, I know it's not what you wanted to hear, but I didn't want you to be led on more than you had to be." She leaned her back against the door. "Flash isn't a bad guy. Maybe dents in the head, but he wasn't trying to hurt you. We were both just trying to let down the obvious crush on him easy. I'm sure if he wasn't with Sunset, he'd fall for you." She covered her knees. "I know he would." A click of the door caused Bon to shoot up. The handle turned, and a red-eyed Lyra wobbled out. "Lyra, The wind was knocked out of her when Lyra slammed into a tight hug, her sobs continuing. As long as it was, Bon smiled. Heart pounding, she stroked Lyra's back. There. You'll be alright. You'll find someone else." This made Lyra squeeze and heart cry harder. Bon sighed. "I wish you could tell me how you feel, not like you can just write it down." She felt Lyra pause. Then she pushed away, face worrying as she ran to the drawers. Head tilted, Bon watched as Lyra fished out some papers and a quilt. Together, to her amazement, Lyra wrote down, "I can." Bon's eyes started to twitch. "You could write in English this whole time, and you didn't?" Lyra chuckled nervously, then wrote, giving a pause to trap her chin before finishing her next response. "Wasn't sure my language was your own at first. Anyways, this is perfect." Bon shook her head. "Well, I guess it's better late than never." She sighed. "But now that we can communicate..." Lyra cut her off as she hastily scribbled something down. "You have to get Flash to kiss me." Bon's eyes wet. "You're not serious." Slumping into a chair, Lyra wrote down, "Can't men have two wives?" Bon stared. at the wall before glancing back at Lyra. You are unbelievable. She started to walk away before Lyra tugged on her arm to stay. With reluctance, Bonbon allowed Lyra to write. You don't understand. It's a matter of life and death. I'm serious. Bonbon narrowed her eyes. And pray tell, how is that so? Lyra bit her lips and then looked out the window. I'm scared you won't believe me, but I'm that desperate. Bonbon rolled her eyes. Try me. Lyra moaned, but went to writing down her answer. As she did, Bonbon sat on bed, watching Lyra work. Bonbon still glanced at Lyra's figure. Not that she didn't think all of Lyra was beautiful, but she couldn't deny that she had a perfect weight. I'm supposed to be mad at her, wasn't she? Bonbon hoped she had a good explanation. Minutes later, Lyra nervously handed her response to Bonbon. As Bonbon reached out, Lyra pulled back, eyeing her don't hate me look before giving Bonbon the parchment. With a deep breath, Bonbon read, Firstly, yes, I am the one who saved Flash's life in that storm. You're welcome. Second, the reason why I need him to kiss me is, well, I was a mermaid. Bonbon fought everything she had to throw the parchment into a fire. However, her curiosity to see where this went carried her forward. Although she couldn't help look back at Lyra, who gulped, then to see her clearly late before she went back to the parchment. Yes, I know how that sounds to you, but it's true. As to why I'm not a mermaid anymore, that's part of the reason I need to get to Flash, to fall in love with me and kiss me. See, in the days that followed saving him, I foolishly fell head over fins in love with him. First beating a human male I saw up close before and all. I mean, ever since I was a kid, I've had a huge fascination with you all. Even had a large collection of human artifacts before. Well, my dad didn't like the idea. And when my family caught wave, they went over the whole, you shouldn't fall for him. It wouldn't work. You're so young. What do you even know about this human thing? Guess they were right about that. Hee hee. Of course, after my dad found out and went berserk, I made up my mind that I was going to show them all and do whatever it took to be with Flash. However, my only solution was to go to a sea witch. She can do wonderful things and make dreams come true. However, she often works at a steep price. She could make me human, but at the cost of my voice, and I had to get Flash to fall in love with me in 3 days, by which she had to show that with a kiss of true love, by sunset tomorrow. Penalty of failure, I turned back into a mermaid, and my soul belongs to her, and I have to suffer the fate of everyone else who couldn't keep the ends of the deals as a polyp in her garden for the rest of my life. Bonbon stared at the last bit for a while, as her mind processed what Lyra had just claimed. Naturally, she wanted to be angry, call Lyra out for being crazy, and surely something else. However, when she looked at Lyra, she could see the girl shaking nervously. Regardless if Lyra was really making this up or honestly believed it, one other thought settled into Bonbon's mind. So, Bonbon placed the parchment down and moved it towards Lyra. You mermaid, who made a bad deal that needs a kiss of true love to stay human forever? Still shaking, Lyra nodded her head. She then went to write something else, only for Bonbon to move her arm away from the quill. You may be something. Bonbon said, sitting down next to her, faces inch apart. But I meant what I said about killing to you for someone like you. Without warning, she crossed the line and brought her lips onto Lyra's. 5 seconds later, Bonbon pulled back, face bright red and breathing heavily. Once the rush had passed, Bonbon narrowed her eyes and said, "Now, if you want to keep up your foolish question, Flash, be my guest. At least now you can't use a silly Bonbon moaned as Lyra leapt forward, teary-eyed, lips locked with Bonbon's. They didn't say anything more after that. The rest of the night, they never let go each other go. Even when they were moving their clothing halfway into the heated passion to get even closer to each other, they kept their bodies in constant contact all through the night. Lyra awoke from her sleep and stretched her green, slimy green neck and moaned. If she could, she would sleep all day. However, no creature could sleep all the time. Not that she, and surely the other polyps, hadn't tried. Surely it must have been an eternity by now, or at least somewhere close. Did Bonbon already marry someone else by now? Did she already move on and had a family with someone? Bonbon. If only she had something she could bargain with to see her again, to be held, confident, to be loved. She didn't care about being human or even being a polyp. It was being in love, real love, then to have it be mercilessly taken away. Lyra, talk to me, Bonbon pleaded, running a hand across Lyra's face. It was the third day. For the first 2 days, the girls went on a romantic picnic in a secluded park behind a shady tree. It was pleasant at first, arms held together, till Lyra started to frown. While Lyra just wanted Bonbon to keep holding on to her, she sat and began to write something down. I still want that Flash to kiss me, just to be safe. Bonbon groaned. I knew that would be the case. But Lyra hastily wrote down more. You still don't believe me, do you? Lyra, it's not that. Bonbon lied. Lyra sighed and leaned onto her back. Bonbon lifted her up and placed her head onto her lap. Okay, let's say what you said is true. You got your kiss of true love. Shouldn't that be enough? Finally, Lyra jolted down. She did say that I had to kiss Flash. She scribbled down on another note. But I don't love Flash anymore, Bonnie. I love you. I don't want to chance losing you. Leaving you or not, I don't want to go back home. I want to stay with you. I've never felt like this before with anybody. Bonbon smiled, then blew on her tongue. Well, if that means old witch or that thick head of a father tries to touch you, I'll rip out the gills with my bare hands. Lyra bursted out into silent laughter as she snuggled out closer to Bonbon. Besides, Bonbon said, she started to stroke Lyra's hair. Even if that is the case, and even if we got to Flash to believe you, it will never be a kiss of true love, and it would just make him feel bad. Do you really want that? Lyra shook her head. Bonbon used her other hand to cut one of Lyra's. She then placed them both onto Lyra's stomach. Lyra, I promise, when the sun sets tonight, you'll still be human. She ran circles around Lyra with her free hand. Then we'll get married, have some kids, and live happily ever after. Lyra let go of Bonbon's hand, brought her girlfriend into a hug, and nuzzled into Bonbon's chest. Bonbon stayed with the hug, yet found out what she had just promised. Only for sure would one of those things be true. They were still both ladies, and not really knowing where Lyra came from didn't help either. On one hand, Lyra's real family would one day come to take her home, and on the other, she would be a nobody that Bonbon's parents would want her to have nothing to do with her love, even if she had been male. That could wait. For now, her girlfriend's fears of a sea demon coming tonight to take her, so because she couldn't get a kiss from the guy who was in love with someone else came first. How about this? Bonbon said as she helped Lyra, setting her on her lap. We rent a hotel room tonight in town, as far away from the coast as possible. She lifted Lyra's chin. We'll get a room with a view of the horizon to watch the sunset. She looked into Lyra's eyes and smiled. Then, once it does, we make love till the sun comes back up. Lyra smiled and nodded vigorously. While they didn't risk kissing out in the open, they were content to just hold on to each other. Bonbon told the entire truth to Flash. While she wasn't sure how much he believed, he willingly went along with it. Perhaps it was just so he could make sense of what happened in his near-death experience, but Bonbon wasn't just going to complain. He was even willing to give Lyra a kiss to put her at ease. While Bonbon reacted as one would expect, it ended up happening in hopes that would make everything right. They all knew who their hearts belonged to. Anything after that would be wrong. While her kiss with Flash wasn't bad, it clearly didn't have the fire Bonbon's had. Bonbon's heart left when she saw Lyra pull away. Perhaps how Lyra went into her own arms and passionately kissed her help. But again, she wasn't one to complain. With Flash to cover them, in exchange for him teasing them about what they would do with one another once they got to the hotel, the girls made their way secretly into town an hour until sunset. They checked into the room with no problem, save for a raven-haired woman that looked down from the newspaper to glance them a glance. With nothing else, they also asked for a room that faced the setting sun, top floor, and made their way to. Once inside, the door locked, Lyra wrapped her arms around Bonbon, quivering. I know, Lyra, I know. It's almost over. Lyra nodded. Smiling, Bonbon lifted up her chin. Come now, this is going to be a happy night. One I plan to make happen for as long as we live. She brought Lyra into a kiss that soon became passionate. By the time they lifted each other's shirts off, bra still on, Bonbon looked out the window to see the sun had nearly set. Come on, she paused, leading Lyra to the bed. Almost time. Lyra followed as Bonbon led her by the hand. Once they reached the bed, Bonbon pulled her down onto it and held Lyra in close. Just to be safe, Bonbon scooted under Lyra and curled the legs around each other. She crossed them into making what could ironically be a mermaid's tail out of 4 pairs of legs. Let's see anyone try and take those gorgeous feet away now. Lyra let out a voiceless laugh and kissed Bonbon. She then reached over for a pen and wrote down, If anything happens, I love you. You've made these the happiest days of my life. Bonbon gave her some bedroom eyes and pushed the note away. And I plan to make many more, my love. She kissed Lyra on the forehead and the lips. Then they anxiously watched the sun set behind the town. It had to work. The sun sank lower. It was a kiss of true love. She loved Bonbon, and Bonbon loved her. The sun was halfway gone. It is true love, right? Bonbon questioned to herself. Of course it is. The sun was 3/4 of the way gone. She's sweet, energetic, makes me smile. We can relate with parents who... Why am I even worried? Even if she's truthful, nothing is going to happen. Just need to get the stupid sun down. Then we can get on with lives, and of course that only made Bonbon think about how this was going to work. Even if this night turned out fine, how is she supposed to make it so years from now? And Tip barely stood out. Lyra and Bonbon squeezed onto each other tighter. The sun disappeared beyond the point of view, and even Bonbon closed her eyes and locked her toes with Lyra's when it happened. A moment later, they opened their eyes to see that Lyra's legs were still intertwined. Bonbon gave a nervous chuckle in the dimly lit room. Guess it doesn't matter now if you were or weren't crazy. Lyra cast a glance, but rushed into Bonbon's embraces, believing it was over. Bonbon started to pull out of the tangle, but Lyra held firm. She reached over for the pen to write. Just give a few more minutes to be sure the sun is fully set. When the pain began, Lyra tried to scream, but was reminded she had no voice to do so. Her mouth was held agape as she clasped onto Bonbon, trying to keep her legs from ripping apart for dear life. Bonbon, meanwhile, was lost in words. Once Lyra's face began to scrunch up in pain, she felt her legs entwined with her own began to convulse. Then, where Lyra's legs were exposed, she could see them turning into seaweed green as her toes unlocked from her own and turned into fins. With that, Bonbon could feel Lyra's legs fighting her to untangle it to turn them into a single limb. Confused, but with adrenaline pushing aside her need for logic, Bonbon kept the legs tied together, finding whatever sort of sorcery was threatening her luck. The efforts proved to be in vain. Lyra's pants ripped themselves off, her limbs sealing themselves in a downward zip, till Lyra had a long, green tail. Both girls breathing heavily, Bonbon shut herself up and away from Lyra. Nearing tears, Lyra looked at her tail and hair. She looked at Bonbon, who scooted back even further, reaching a hand out to the woman she thought had loved her. Bonbon's mouth opened and closed, eyes drifting from Lyra's lower to her upper half. This was all too much, and she wanted to run out of the room, screaming her head off. But before she could, two things stopped her. The first was Lyra's face. The face that had lost all the joy Bonbon had fallen in love with for the past 3 days. Even the heartbreak with the flash didn't compare. Worse, she was directly responsible now for Lyra's fears. Only she could help her friend. No, girlfriend, now. It was a hasty choice, one she was sure to think more on later. But Bonbon decided that this new development wasn't going to change anything. She loved Lyra. Even if she was a fish, they already had to face the trials of being two lesbians, so it wasn't as if being two different species could make that big of a difference. She reached for it, and even took Lyra's hand when the second thing, a knock on the door, interrupted the moment. Hello? A deep feminine voice spoke. Are there any problems in there? Lyra seized up at the voice, recognized it. She leapt into Bonbon's arms. Everything's fine, Bonbon answered, stroking Lyra's back. Nothing to worry about. We are kind of busy. Sadly, my dear, so am I, and I'm on a tight schedule. The door clicked open, and on instinct, Bonbon threw the comforter they had been resting on over Lyra. From under the covers, Lyra could see the raven-haired woman from the lobby who had been giving them a look. Of course it was her, the sea witch. How could she not have found her? How could Lyra have thought she wouldn't have been outsmarted by one of the most evil monsters in the sea? Lyra's only comfort was when she felt Bonbon crawl over her body to put herself between them. What are you doing? Bonbon demanded, pulling a concealed dagger from the nightstand she kept for just such an emergency. I demand that you leave at once. You have no business here. She felt Lyra hold onto her free hand. Actually, I do, dearie. Now step aside so I can collect what's mine. Bonbon's hand tightened over the knife she carried around for protection and pointed the top forward. Over my dead body. The woman shrugged. If you say so. From under her dress, a tentacle shot out and slammed Bonbon onto the wall before she fell to the ground. Lyra mouthed out, Bonbon, reaching a hand out, only to have two more tentacles wrap themselves around her body. Finally, she looked to the witch and wordlessly pleaded, let me go. I kept up my end. She kissed me, and it was true love. I even kissed Flash. The witch clicked her tongue and shook her head. Dearie, The contract was very clear. While the witch spoke, Bonbon had picked the knife back up and called towards the intruder. Besides, they have a saying in both in this world and Oz. Her tentacles tighten as Lyra struggled to break free. The house always. Ah! The witch cried as the Bonbon stabbed her in the knee. In her pain, Lyra flipped up her tail, smacking the witch in the face. Off guard, she dropped Lyra right in front of Bonbon. Meanwhile, Bonbon started to stand up, knife pulled from the witch's flesh, intent to stab this creature in the heart, grab Lyra, and run as far away from here as possible. However, the witch reacted too quickly. She pushed Bonbon back onto the wall, throwing away the knife. She regained her hold on her. Do yourself a favor, child, she told Bonbon, bringing the terrified mermaid to her face and stroking it. Don't make stupid choices. She then pinned Bonbon to the opposing wall, to the window, and made a run for it. The last Bonbon and Lyra saw of each other was that both of them reached out for each other, only feet apart, yet miles away. Once the witch was out of the room, Bonbon threw herself up, turned towards the window, and cried out into the night, Lyra! As the sea's witch made her escape over the rooftops. Without throwing anything over a bar, she raced out the hotel, through the town of onlookers, screaming the whole way to the ocean. Lyra! After that, Lyra was dragged back to the sea with the witch's lair. Before she could escape, the contract she had signed circled around her body, turning her into another prize for the witch's guard. Once the shark struggled to pull out her roots in a panic, her body tired out. Then Lyra fell into deep sleep. In that sleep, she dreamt that she was still in the hotel room with Bonbon, that the legs were still tied together, that they had a wonderful night, and were talking about getting married. When she woke up with the body of a polyp instead of a human, without Bonbon, so she cried. From then on, she tried to sleep, dream, forget as long as she could, only to wake up and have to daydream while she either watched the polyps around her mouth. Occasionally, another poor, stupid soul swam into the lair to make similarly stupid deals. Why couldn't she have listened to her father? Why couldn't she have at least made sure the deal was good enough? Not specific. She just had to make a true love's kiss instead of flashes. How on it she honestly wouldn't have taken any of those years back. She supposed if she had to spend eternity here, she could have at least hold on to those magical moments with Bonbon and Flash as a human. The day out of town, her face tasted chocolate, how sexy Bonbon looking nothing short of a bikini just now. How she wished she could find a way to kill herself and end this maybe. Maybe she struggled hard enough and got uprooted. Her eyes sweating as she checked to make sure she was seeing it right. Indeed, it was Bonbon swimming into the lake. At first felt a heart of her joy. Bonbon was here. Her love still cared about it. She was here to save it. She Lyra's pupils nails. No. Bonbon couldn't be here. What was she thinking? Was she an idiot? If she was here for her, she was going to lose her soul and throw her life away for her. Lyra couldn't let that happen. When Bonbon swam over her, she saw out her neck and wrapped her around Bonbon's leg. Bonbon flinched and pulled away, disgusted. Bonbon looked in horror to the floor of the worm-like creatures. Polyps? Unless she was wrong. And most of all one magnet grounded. She was about to think it looked familiar in a way. Could it have been so? But can we make a game after all? The voice that made Bonbon's blood ice. Don't be shy. Come on in. It's rude to keep a lady waiting. Bonbon gulped as she swam closer to the voice. Out of the shadows, a large octopus lady began to eye Bonbon. Bonbon responded by reaching for a knife, only to remember it had been in her pants. If you go for that knife again, I'll pop your little friend's head, the witch warned. Breathing heavily, Bonbon decided to bluff and acted like she still had it. Do that, and I'll have nothing to lose. The witch chuckled. I suppose that's true. She rubbed a stitched-up tentacle. Oh, I also suppose you have some business to come all the way out here, away from your cozy and warm bed into this dark, cruel ocean? Bonbon narrowed her eyes and clenched her knuckles at the witch's mockery. You know damn right why I'm here. She boldly swam closer. You took someone very close to me. I want her back. Yet she kept up your deal, and I gave her the kiss of true love. The witch shook her head. Sorry, lollipop. The deal was you're a handsome guy friend, so my hands are really tired. She used her hands to rub some gel over her hair. Of course, she added with a whooping grin, I am a lady of bargain. She glanced with her a sly smile. That is, if you're willing to pay. Yeah, let's cut the crap. No magical clauses. She dumped her first bag in front of the witch. Lyra's freedom, no catch, no clauses, or I'm out of here. Again, another bluff, but she kept her poker face. Clicking her tongue, the witch inspected back. I suppose this would do. The grin returned. However, I can tell that's not all you want. Bonbon switched backwards. Just free her and then what? You both go back to your little human world? The witch crossed some of her tentacles. You let me know how that works out, would you? Yes, I imagine that would be quite a story. If the lynch mob doesn't get you because you're both the same sex, I'm sure the mermaid and human half will get you exiled from both of your worlds. Bonbon didn't have anything to say to that. It was true. Before Lyra turned back into a mermaid in front of her eyes, even as she freed Lyra, turned her back into a human, all with no possible catch. Painful. In Bonbon's heart, she knew there was no way for them to have a happy ending as humans. It didn't hurt that everyone besides Flash now thought she was crazy when she went out screaming that Lyra was taken by a monster. The only reason she'd been able to get down to the coast to meet both the Eels for the first time was because she claimed to realize how shitty she was. And then the next night to be here was because she pretended like she was going to behave for Prince that would be coming to her parents' estate on the next day. The witch seemed to read her mind. Of course, such thing as genders are no barriers for love under here. Most of the time, I still get a few customers looking for a sex change. She jotted over to her cabinet of files. Fun fact, merfolks even have ways that doesn't require my magic for two mermaids to have children. Mama kicked her legs through the wire. So you can make me a mermaid. Somehow, when Flash saw her off, even if he didn't leave her, he knew she was thinking of it. The possibility was always in the back of Bonbon's mind, but saying it out loud was a whole other deal. It solved all her problems. She could be with Lyra. And even if something happened that broke them out down the line, she would still be free from the world that sneered on her kind and from her overbearing parents. Looking like a tiger shark narrowing on her prey, the witch added, Of course, well, you often hear, she ran the coins through her fingers, is only enough to set your friend free. Now for what you'd want, she clasped her hands together. I think we can make a deal. Blinking, Bonbon shrugged, moved back, and looked at the other pups, and then remembered something. I have a lot more money, she declared, showing off the other bag flashing in her. The witch shrugged. I suppose that will do, although I can't imagine you two starting out with nothing. Bonbon was firm. I will pay you, full, up front now, clause free or no deal. Oh, and Lyra gets her voice back. She puffed out her chest to look more confident than she had. The witch was taken aback. Very few had ever shown her such background before. She then started to laugh. Yes, you took my word to heart about not making stupid deals. I guess so, Ron nodded, taking out Flash's precious present from the bag and setting it aside. So, do we have a deal? It would be a shame for the witch to lose two of her precious flowers for a guy, but as much as the witch wanted to create pain, she could admire Ravian spots more. Besides, gold was not something easily conjurable. Worse than unfortunate souls could only do so much for one well-being. The witch acted like she was thinking about it for a moment. However, her mind was already made up. With the snap of her finger, a golden glow illuminated the room. In front of Bonbon, a scroll with bold letters and no sign of any small print read, in exchange for 100 gold, human coins, I grant one sweet witch to turn myself and one lyre heartstrings into mermaids, as well as to restore the voice of one lyre heartstrings to live out our lives as we please. A fishbone quill appeared next to Bonbon, looking between the skull and the sea witch, making sure there really wasn't any fan tricks, and that what she had to do was to sign the scroll. Bonbon took the pen. With a deep breath, she scribbled down her name. Lyra tried to figure out what was going on. However, her view blinked out the sea layers witch, so Lyra could only hope she was soon see Bonbon swimming away, still free to go home without her. But she didn't care. Lyra would happily spend an eternity in hell for Bonbon. However, that was not to be. From the chamber, a bright yellow light bounced off the walls. For the seasoned polyps, they knew what that meant. Another soul would soon join them. As for Lyra, it was a nightmare made real. Sure enough, a split-up skull raced towards her and encircled her body. What felt like minutes, though it was only a few seconds, she was painfully transformed back into a mermaid, her roots tangling back into a fin as she felt her arms stretch out. A lot of the polyps looked impressed, and often seeing one of their own go free. It made some of the newer souls optimistic that they could be freed one day. As if that was enough, as the yellow scroll fizzled, a green light traveled down the halls, ringing out a song Lyra knew too well as her voice returned to her body. Ah! Lyra sang out, only for the next words to be Bonbon! She swam into the witch's cave, expecting to see a new polyp to have been created. What she saw was just as frightening, yet beautiful in its own way, as Lyra watched. The moment the scroll was signed, it disappeared into the sea witch's grasp. The witch then threw something into a cauldron Bonbon had now just noticed in the center of the room. Next, she materialized a new contract with Lyra's name scribbled on the bottom. The scroll broke in half and raced down the cave. This was followed by the witch smashing a seashell, which released a green light that rang out the most beautiful note before dissipating down the cave. However, the magic show was far from over. From the cauldron, a mushroom cloud erupted from the pit. Bonbon heard a laugh. Then she was surrounded by a yellow bubble before she felt pain. It shot down her back and into her legs, causing her to winch uncontrollably as the magic began to circle around her waist, legs, and toes. Her feet were the first to go, the toes merging together as her bulky feet flattened into pins. Next, her legs pulled backward, one at a time, going from smooth legs into pink-reddish scales as they started to merge together. Perhaps it was from last night with Larry as she tried to fight her love's own transformation, but she fought to keep her limbs. And much like that horrible night, it was all in vain. She fought to keep them separate. The magic was too strong as it closed the gap between them forever. Though lastly the magic circled around her waist, dissolving her underwear and covering everything below the belly button into scale. As the magic completed, Bonbon curled up into herself and popped out, dazed and confused as she tried to kick her legs, only to realize that she was indeed a mermaid now. Bonbon! A majestic voice shouted out at her, heart still pounding, breath increasing. She turned just in time to see a green mermaid slam into her. Bonbon! I cried, squeezing her for all she was worth. You idiot! You should have come. What deal did you make? What did you trade? Relax, sweetheart, the witch cooed. Lara hid behind Bonbon. She paid in full, so now you're both free to do whatever you like. The witch gave them a sly grin and interlocutor fingers. Of course, if there is anything else you'd like, maybe pass! Both Bonbon and Lara shouted. They then turned to face each other and once again embraced. Come on, Lara, moving onto Lara's arms. Let's go. Yes, please. Lara returned the grip, and they began to swim away. But not before Bonbon had to pull to pick up the gift from Flash. She sat on the ground. In doing so, she had to look back behind her to where the sea witch continued to stare at her, and that's all she did. But even then, she wore an expression that said, "We may meet again." Bonbon, Lara muttered, seeming to realize the almost hypnotic spell she was under. Blinking, Bonbon gripped the box and arm in arm with Lara. They surmounted the witch's lair as fast as they could without looking back. They swam for some time, where neither was sure. Lara thought she was swimming in the direction of her home, but for now both just wanted to get away from the inky water. Once they did so, and stopped in front of a reef to rest, both drew themselves into a tight hug. It lasted for a minute before Lara pulled away to glance up and down Bonbon's mermaid body. You still shouldn't have done that, she looked away. You make a beautiful mermaid. Face reddened, Bonbon kissed Lara. No, I really did. With crying and laughing, Lara said, I can't believe you saved me. And you serious about... She backed away and gestured toward Bonbon's new body. There's no impossible task you have to complete, no clause that I can't kiss anyone else. Bonbon chuckled. You can make flush with a tail. She raised an eyebrow. And really, you're afraid I'd kiss someone else? Lara squinted at her eyes as Bonbon laughed. It was the first thing I could think of. Bonbon shook her head, then examined Lara's tail. In any case, you're not too bad looking with a tail yourself. They both giggled till Lara brought up. But now you can't go back home and make those sweet candies again. Bonbon frowned. Oh, I didn't think about that part. She sighed contentedly and brought Lara's hands into her own. Still, I'm home now, with you. Besides, she rubbed her head with one of her arms, we don't want it to have worked out in the human world anyways. Lara frowned. Oh? Bonbon gave her a cheeky grin. Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where humans are very against same-sex couples. That sounds rather dumb. Bonbon nodded and rested her head on Bonbon's shoulder. It is. Lara returned the hug as both girls allowed themselves to enjoy the happy ending with one another. Also, Mom whispered, the sweet witch also mentioned something about mermaids being able to have other kids with mermaids? Lyra's eyes flew open. Now, she pulled away and stretched her neck. Let's not get too carried away. Bonbon playfully lowered her eyes. And this coming from the mermaid who gave away his soul and voice because she fell in love with the first human she saw without knowing if he was single or not? Lyra's face began to convulse as Bonbon laughed to tell her. You, Lyra's raised her finger. You, yes, my love. Bonbon batted her eyelashes. Lyra sighed happily. Let's just make out some more, then figure out what to do next. Bonbon wrapped her arm around Lyra's waist and interlocked their tails. There's nothing else I'd rather do. Of course, that never happened. It became awkward when what was supposed to be a surprise engagement party turned into a search one. But the kingdom wasn't burnt down. Instead, it was searched top to bottom, day and night, for weeks. Yet, Bonbon was never found. The question flashed a lot, but he avoided most of the actual truth with only half of it by saying, she said her friend Lyra was turned into a mermaid and disappeared the next day. They didn't press further. Shortly after, it became rumored Bonbon and Lyra were being held captive, and their ransom would soon follow. It never did, but with the fear going around town, Flash was never let out off the grounds till today. Not that he had money to spend now. By now, the story of his cousin's disappearance was becoming that of a town legend, one he was very tempted from time to time to add rumors to so it wouldn't be forgotten. He would one day, but for now allow the frenzy to die down for his sake. Truth be told, he wondered whatever happened to Bonbon and Lyra. Maybe one day he would tell the full story and talk about finding the rowboat abandoned. He set his cousin often. For now, what his aunt and uncle didn't know where it had him. Maybe the priority over what everyone thought over the daughter's safety kept his lips shut as well. You went to watch the sunset, and you didn't invite me? Sunset Shimmer cooed as she walked next to him. I thought you were a knight. Guard in training, he corrected Napoleon, inspired to be into a hug and kiss. The only good thing to come out of mayhem was Sunset's family wanting the daughter to be protected. While out of the country was most ideal, it was decided that under order of the princess, protecting Sunset would be Flash's test to see how great of a guard he could be. He could have acted a bit more professional at times, but the lack of any more disappearance soon put everyone at ease, as well as ensured him a good starting position when he came of age in the guard. It was bittersweet since they couldn't leave or get away with anything being too kinky, but they took what was given. Sunset Sherman giggled at his humor. You'll have to do better than that. He wrapped an arm around her shoulder. We'll see. Then he bit his lip. Hey, Sunset? Yeah? I haven't been completely honest. She looked at Ben. What do you mean? He sighed. I may have hid a few facts about what happened to my cousin and her friend. Sunset chuckled. About time. Huh? She flipped her hair. I figured you knew more. Just didn't want to press it till you wanted to. Flash raised an eyebrow. Or till you couldn't stand it. She punched him in the shoulder. So spill. With a groan and so sorry, Flash told her everything. Of course, part of the reason why he hadn't told Sunset was because it also meant telling her about Lyra's crush, and the reason why he kissed her. Sunset reacted as he expected when he got to the crush, then when he got to the kiss. She reacted, but only a fidget before she told him to go on with the story. When he got to the end of seeing Bonbon off with an extra bag of gold to pay the possible sea witch, all Sunset could do was gaze out at the sea. Sunset? Flash said, giving her a shake, not sure what to expect. I'm the better kisser, she crossed her arms. Right?
Of course! I felt nothing. It was to put her at ease so she could move on past her delusions. Wait, you're not mad? She shrugged. Can't say I'm thrilled, but she leaned into him. Considering most men do worse in their primal desires to mate with as many females as possible to pass their dreams along, I'll live. Besides, you told me, so I can let it slide. Before Flash could smile, she added, besides, now I can hold that over your head for a better occasion. Flash shuddered. You're too smart for your own good. She giggled. I know. You should try to be Scarlet. Sunset grimaced. I don't. You should, and not give a damn what anyone thinks. He pressed Sunset's palm. He's smarter than most men. She nodded. Well, that is true. There was a splash in the distance. What was that? Flash asked, looking at him. Possibly just a fish. A fish that could throw stones. Yeah, a fish, Flash remarked, as you guys where had been thrown from. Following Flash to the secluded stone spot, Sunset watched as he shut out, Bon Bon? There was no immediate response. You think it was? I'd say so, Bon Bon answered. Eyes wide, they looked to see Bon Bon crouched behind a rock. Bonnie! Flash cried, lunging forward. Bon Bon turned her head. Stop! Flash and Sunset obeyed. I need you to promise you won't freak out, or I'm swimming away, and likely won't come back. Nervously, Flash asked, Bonnie, where have you been? Bon Bon sighed. I've kind of... She flopped herself onto the rock, reeling and tell. Been going through a few things. While neither of them could freak out at the sight, they both kept themselves from running away, screaming. Once the shock was gone, Flash lunged forward and lifted his cousin into a hug. I was worried, he pushed her to arm's length. You gained weight? Bon Bon glared, but lightened up as Sunset started to laugh. Yeah, it's great to see you too. She went for another hug. Would have let you know sooner, but she flicked her tail. My mobilities have been limited, and you were never at the beach. Sorry, he said. Been in a bit of lockdown since you left. Mind catching up, Flash? Asked. Mind catching up with him, Flash asked. How? Bon Bon shrugged. You give good gifts. You know that, right? Gift? Sunset questioned, reaching out a hand to Bon Bon's tail. Hey! Hands off my woman! Lyra shouted. Sunset shirked and fell into the water. Flash would have gone to help his lady first, but was memorized as he heard Lyra's voice for the second time. Lyra! He was towards her. It was you! I knew it! He took her hands. I knew it! Bon Bon crossed her arms and narrowed her eyes. Sunset splashed around in the water. Flash blinked. Oh! He let go of Lyra's hand to help Sunset up. As Lyra slumped her shoulders, Bon Bon swam over and embraced her girl, finding a hug. After Flash had helped Sunset up, to which she used his goofy smile to keep her temper in check, he slowly turned to the moments. So, that thing about needing kiss of true love for me, even though my heart belonged to another? Well, Lyra left her to tell all the while. I do miss being human, she turned dreamily at Bon Bon, but I'd say the story had a happy ending. Yeah, Bon Bon pulled Lyra in closer. We've been spending most of our time looking for ways to save other trapped souls in the sea, which is layer. As she spoke, Sunset moved in closer towards them. Just last week, we bought a couple of lovers by the name of Vinyl and Octavia out of their contracts. We've been good friends. Amazing, she leaned forward. This is a scientific discovery of the century. Lyra and Bon Bon's discovered Sunset started to scream. Think of what this would mean. The woods. What this means to our evolution. We could rewrite history. Hey, Sunset protested as Flash pulled her back from the rails. Let's not talk about suspecting my cousin, shall we? Sunset sighed in this embrace. We can't tell anyone about this, can we? No. Maybe one day. For now, our king is against the idea of humans and mermaids mingling. If this is the reaction you get, Bonbon and Sunset. I don't blame him. Sunset groaned. Sorry, honey. Flash put it down. Sorry, honey. Maybe one day you'll find your scientific breakthrough. I guess. She crossed her arms behind her back. I promise not to cut you both open to advance the field of science. Still wouldn't mind knowing how both turned from humans to mermaid in one day. Larry and Bonbon looked to one another. In any case, Flash clapped his hands together. He then had out. Oh, Bonnie, when was the last time you had chocolate? Bonbon looked away. Small price to pay. She squeezed Larry's hand. No, Flash declared. Right here. Sunset and I will get you some ingredients and find some ways to start a fight getting around here. All the girls looked in. You will? Bonbon and Larry asked hopeful. We will? Sunset said, raising an eyebrow. They can find a way to change species. I think we're getting ready to make chocolate. Would be a piece of cake for a man like you, Sonny. He grabbed Sunset's hand and pulled it towards the castle. Come on. Don't take long, Larry shouted. As they walked out of view, he caught a glimpse of Larry and Bonbon pulling each other into a kiss. You going to be okay with this new development? Flash asked. Sunset slowly nodded. I think so. By that I mean I won't tell anyone. Flash chuckled. I didn't say that. We can add to the legend one day. Sunset came to a halt. Stop. No one would believe me anyways. Not without evidence. He raised his finger. And no. Sunset snapped her finger. You still can't believe your cousin made such a bold choice to be with one she loved despite no one. Flash wrapped an arm around Sunset and kissed her boy. Love can overcome anything. Sunset rubbed her chin. You know, if you would be supportive of it, I think I'll give that skeleton thing a try. He caught Sunset off guard by pulling her into her. Anything to make you happy. With a giggle, she allowed him to kiss her off.